Hello there. If I'm slow during this live, I'm Brandon Marshall, the spiritual smartass. I learned to say my name in the beginning of every live. If you don't know who I am, but if I'm slow during this live, it's because I didn't sleep at all last night. So you got to forgive me. I'm going to post a pinned post. This is the last day you get a bonus one-on-one call by joining the Fall of the Conformist Coach. So jump on that. Hop on that. The link is in there in the pinned comment. Rebecca Rubin in the house. What's up? So I actually went kind of crazy on this title of the live feed. And there's a method to my madness. I mean, sometimes I plan things out. And I planned this out like 3 minutes in advance, but really I wanted to make this live feed about allowing things to fall apart. And then the lyrics of a Mike Shinoda song was in my head, and I was like, I'm just gonna copy the Mike Shinoda song on the live feed because I wanted to mention it, but I didn't want to mess up the lyrics, so I wanted to write it down because the lyrics are so profound and it's so amazing, and it reflects on a moment of my life, because this EP that came out during a moment of my life over the winter where I did feel like I was on the edge and everything was falling apart. But I learned a lot from that. And I made a post yesterday, before my Abraham Hicks post, I made a post yesterday about allowing things to fall apart, to surrender. Oh, there's comments here. Everyone go hire Brandon now. Yes, I agree. What's up, Steven? Hey. Like right now. Hire me in the pin post. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Wave. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm waving to everybody too. Allow me to catch up to these. Those moments crack open is such a good way. Yes. So awesome. So I saw some resistance. In all fairness, I got a lot of love on that post, and a lot of people resonated with it, and a lot of people said this hit me at the perfect time. But then I saw a few comments where it was resisting. One woman was like, no. And then another woman was like, no, I can't. Surrendering means I break in two. And I was like, no, actually surrendering doesn't mean you break in two. It means you fall into pieces, like many different pieces, not just two pieces, all of them. When I feel stuck, Brandon helps me actualize myself every time we hang out. You will grow tremendously mindset-wise by working with him. All the testimonials, I must have manifested this. I feel all the love. And I'm seeing you both in person in the next 48 hours, I guess. In the next 48-hour span, I'm seeing both of you amazing people in person. So falling apart, I said falling in pieces. And here's the thing. Starting this time last year, around this time last year, I noticed everything that I once knew falling apart. And my ego was trying to hold it together. And I remember actually being in this spot, somewhere in that spot, where I really felt like things were falling apart. And I went here for some solitude. I drove over in this area, specifically like right down there, for some solitude. And I was sitting at a picnic table, and I remember I was doing a training for a free group that I had. But all the love, I love it. Thank you, Kelly, if that's your real name. I know who you really are. But I was doing a free challenge in a community, and I was helping people all while my life was falling apart. And that's what really makes you a true leader, right? When you notice like everything falling apart in your world, and you still stand strong, and you still show up every day. I had to show up every day. I mean, I didn't have to, but I got to. And really, I didn't see any other option. Because it's like this is the bed, I made it. And this is what I'm doing, and this is my purpose. And the reason why my life was falling apart, because I was so committed to my purpose that it was all or nothing. And what I realized is that in order to gain what I wanted, I had to say goodbye to my old life. But the thing is, the biggest challenge I had was the resistance when my ego was trying to hold everything together. That was the most pain that I went through, is when I was trying to hold everything together, when I was trying to make all the pieces stay together. Showing up every day is a privilege, not a right. You got me. I don't even think you intentionally did that, but that was like a Terrell Suggs says that all the time. But I was like trying to hold the pieces together, and that's like I was trying to hold my relationship together, even though I knew it was the end. But it put me through pain to do that, and I was trying to hold my old life together. I kept trying to revert back to my old life, like maybe I can recreate the magic that I had in this old life that I know. And the reason why we do things like that is because we always see what we're losing, but we can't see what we're gaining. And everyone says they have a desire of what they want in life, but they're not willing to lose what they know. It's not about the books that, like how many books you read or the next strategy you get. It's like, okay, so you want to quit your job and you want to live a life of freedom, but are you willing to say no to the Cheesecake Factory party that's going down next Friday? Or are you going to let your coworkers convince you to stay there? The leap's not always going to be comfortable. In fact, I don't believe in comfortable leaps. I feel like if I waited at my job until I had everything lined up, it would have never happened. I'd still be at that job right now. If I tried to take one step in my new life and then hold another foot in the old life, it would have never worked. And in fact, I guess I kind of did try that, but the universe is like, no, we got to break this apart. And if you judge that, it's easy to judge that because in this human experience, a lot of people will tell you when things in your life start to fall apart, that it's a negative thing. But really, it's not something to be judged as a negative thing. It's not something to have shame and guilt around. And you can refer to the lyrics in this title to show exactly what I was feeling. I listened to that song almost every day because that EP came out. That EP came out during the coldest days of the winter, the darkest nights, and it was either like a few days before or after my mother passed away. So it was like that song was like created for me to listen to. It was like it was like Mike Shinoda was going through a very similar thing when Chester died from Linkin Park. Mike Shinoda is the rapper guy and the producer from Linkin Park. So he did a 3-song EP that I just totally resonate with, and it's like a total time capsule for me during that time. And I stuck through it every day, no matter how lonely it felt, no matter how cold it got, no matter how much I felt like I was floating in the air. Like, this is what it felt like. It felt like I was floating in the air and I had nothing to grab onto. Everything I tried to grab onto that reminded me of safety or reminded me of my old identity would just break apart. It's like, nope, you can't grab onto anything outside of you. You got to learn how to source the safety within now. You had to let it fall apart. And I had to admit defeat. Because every time I got into my ego and thought like I had to win, somehow I have to win out of this, or, I can't lose, I can't fail, I gotta win. Every time I tried that, I get beat down harder because it wasn't meant to be. So I had to let go. I had to admit defeat. And in admitting defeat, I learned when to fold my cards and say, you know what, this isn't it. I don't want to say as like not working or giving up or anything like that. I still showed up every day, but I folded my cards and I said, look, I'm going to admit defeat in this old life and just allow it to fade and embrace the new. And until I could let the old fade away, and not by force, not by anything like that, but just by letting go, not having that tight grip anymore, then I noticed new parts of my life started coming in, and it's just poetic because I noticed my life falling apart in the fall, and in the winter it was a tough winter, and then in the spring, and then as the summer comes, I noticed like all these new things blossoming in my life, like in all different areas, and it's fucking beautiful and it's fucking amazing. But you can't get to that side. You can't get to that other side if you're still holding on to what you once know. You have to let the past die. And it's not about reading some strategy in a book of how to be financially free, or how to be in an amazing relationship, or how to live an amazing life. It's not about there's the how and the strategy has a purpose to a certain extent, but at some point you gotta say fuck the how and say, hey, this is what I'm dedicated to, and I'm gonna fully have faith and trust. You have to have faith. If you don't have the faith, then you're going to be stuck to what you know. You're going to keep holding on to the external things of what you thought once was safe. So you got to let yourself break apart in order for the new part of you to form. That's exactly how transformation happens. That's exactly what happens when you hit an upper limit and you shift from that upper limit. That's exactly what's happening when you feel scattered. Like, you notice you go... You feel like awesome one day, and then all of a sudden the next day you just feel scatter-minded. You're like, I don't know what content to write. I don't feel like doing the work. All those things. You're literally scattered. Like the particles are literally breaking apart so it can mold into a new you. You're literally a new human being every month. So what most people do is they go in the same cycles and patterns. But in order for real transformation to happen, you choose and you buy into the new life, and you buy into the new vision, and you let go of the old. And that's where breaking apart happens. But a lot of people aren't willing to break apart because it feels uncomfortable. You got to lean into the emotions of sadness. You got to lean into the emotions of anger. No matter how many times people judge anger, you got to express that anger. And here's the thing, it's not that anger is a bad thing, it's that people suppress anger is a bad thing. That's when they lash out at other people, they lash out at their loved ones, they hurt people emotionally, physically, is when they suppress that anger. But if you were to express that anger when you feel it in a healthy way, then you wouldn't be in that position where anger is used for damage. For instance, if you're feeling tightness in your jaw, if you're feeling like tightness in any of your face, you feel like a kink in your neck, that's anger. And your body will tell you that you're angry before your mind does. You're going to feel the anger in your body, and that's why it's so important to be present and scan your body and see what's going on. Am I angry? Do I feel tenseness in my shoulders, in my neck area, in my jaw? Am I feeling sad? Is there a heaviness in my chest? Do I feel scared? Do I feel fear? Is there butterflies in my stomach? Those are all indications of what emotions you're feeling, and your emotions are what help you manifest. So what can you do to put that energy in motion? Because that's what emotions are. It's energy in motion. So when you let that energy be stagnant, then you're not honoring your emotions. But when you allow that energy to be in motion, then you're allowing it to flow, and you're allowing yourself to expand. And sometimes that's being sad, that's being angry, and that's breaking apart in your own space. I don't care if you had to yell or cry into a pillow, you had to be in a room and just have a freak out session, or go in your car and scream. I had to do a lot of that when I was experiencing the things that I was experiencing in life, and it helped me move through that. If I didn't honor my emotions, I wouldn't be able to move through that. And I had to be very aware, because it's easy to start binge eating. It's easy to start I had my moments of binge eating and things like that, but you got to be very aware. Am I doing this to avoid an emotion? And I really had to give myself silence. I had to honor myself to do the mindset work, and really tap into the deepest of emotions that wanted to be expressed, and around multiple pains that was going on in my life, like multiple losses and multiple grief. But it gave me it gave me the opportunity to heal the wounded parts that were already there. So when we experience a loss, when we experience grief, it's not really that person broke your heart, or I feel heartbroken because I lost this person in my family. It's those unloved places being able to come up to the surface, and you honoring that, And you being in silence and honoring your emotions and your feelings is essentially like being operated on. So allow yourself to be operated on. Allow the universe to pull it from you, and pull out that weight that is holding you down. Thank you, Katie. Welcome to the show. But allow your natural healing to happen. The thing is, you've been conditioned to block the healing, to block your natural ways to heal. Remember, abundance is your natural state. Expansion is natural, but it's also uncomfortable or perceived uncomfortable because it's the things that most of us have been told to shy away from. We were told to shy away from sadness and anger and emotions. When you lean into it, then that's when you can expand. When you let yourself fall apart, that's when you expand. So as I go back to the lyrics that I posted in this comment, one major tool for me was everything that I saw negative in my life. You know, we all talk about gratitude, but what if you can take in the most negative things happening in your life, the most perceived negative things happening in your life, and flip it into gratitude? So the thing I love about the lyrics is I forgot what I typed, but it was like making sure I'm more as much as I listen to the song, I should like know it off the cuff, but maybe I should be grateful for seeing it all break apart, you know, like to being able to watch it all break apart. Maybe I should be grateful because maybe I'm falling somewhere down below, and maybe I'm just falling to go somewhere that they can't go. And that was so powerful to me because yes, I was experiencing a unique situation in my life that not a lot of people experience, not something that I've never experienced in my life before that. But I was falling to a place to get somewhere that they won't go, that the average human being is not willing to go. And that's what makes you the 3% of the world or the 1% of the 1% of the world, is that you're willing to go into every nook and cranny and allow yourself to fall so you can create true security and true freedom in your life, because you can't get that true security from outside sources. I couldn't find that true security from a job that gave me a weekly or bi-weekly paycheck that guaranteed my results. I had to learn how to trust and know money is going to come in and money is going to support me, and I'm not going to end up on these streets. But really, it's true, because you already have a security like mechanism of what you are willing to tolerate. So most of you here, or if not all of you here, you know, the biggest fears that you have, maybe, you know, think of the biggest fears. If it's a financial fear, is like, oh my God, if I don't make this amount of sales, I might end up on these streets. But really, you're most likely, you have that safety net already within you that is like, that's actually below my standards, and subconsciously I wouldn't even let that happen. It just couldn't happen. So there's nothing really to worry about. And then when you know there's nothing to worry about, that's when you can stack and you can build. But if you're always worrying about the worst case scenario, you can't stack and build. You always just end up with just above the worst case scenario. That's why people end up just being able to pay their bills or just having enough. Gladly, Leanne, I'm glad that it's helpful. So when you realize that safety mechanism is already within you, that's when you can stack and build, and then you can stack on top of that. What's up, Veronica? Welcome. Wave. Yeah. So learn that the safety is within you and the love is within you. Like, you know, same thing with love. If you feel abandoned, the only way you can feel abandoned if you're abandoning yourself in that moment. The only way you can feel abandoned is if you're abandoning yourself in that moment. And I just noticed that it was time for me to experience a new level of love and a new level of freedom and a new level of security that other people in my life weren't willing to boldly step into. It was time for an upgrade all around, and not saying that, you know, just an upgraded life of what I chose. Not to say that anyone's worth is different, you know, but it's just like your decision. Am I going to decide to upgrade my life? Am I going to decide to live this new standard? And some people just decide to stay in the normal paradigm. Like, no, I just want to live the simple life of what I know. I don't want to face any fears. I want to work the job and get the paycheck and live in this matrix where I feel like there's this false sense of security. It's exactly like the movie The Matrix. And then you decide to break the matrix, and then the matrix that you thought was keeping yourself safe falls apart. But really, every time you feel scared for your safety, it's an illusion. It's okay, Veronica. You can check out the replay. So that's my rant for today. It's you always have your safety, you always have the security, you always have the freedom, you always have the love within you. And remember, whenever you feel in lack of those things, tap in. And whenever you feel emotion come up, lean into it. The uncomfortable feeling that you feel about the emotion is so much worth it when you get on the other side and you feel so clear and light. But if you hold it in and you avoid that emotion, then it's going to weigh you down the whole day. And maybe it doesn't feel as confronting as facing into that emotion immediately, but it's going to affect you. It's going to impact you. It's like walking up the mountain with like a 100-pound backpack instead of just letting it go and just walking up freely. It's like having a 100-pound backpack with these heavy metal steel-toe boots that weigh you down, and it's like fucking quicksand. It's like, what if you just decide to take it all off? And maybe it's uncomfortable, like getting it all off or whatever, whatever metaphor you want to use. But once you get it off, you're light and you're free to fly around the country. Around the country. In different planets, I guess, if you have that ability. What's up, Asta? What's up, Rachel? Wave. So that was my rant for today. If you're late here, this was an amazing live feed. Come in for the replay. And also, this is the last day that I'm offering a bonus one-on-one call. So you get 2 one-on-one calls with the 6-week group coaching program, the Fall of the Conformist Coach. And also, I decided to add, it's not even on the sales page, but I added unlimited Facebook one-on-one chat support the day that you enroll. So basically the incentive here, it's always good to take quick action, but now there's even a bigger incentive to take quick action, because instead of waiting till the 15th to start getting your results, you can start getting your results right now and get the support you need right now by using your bonus one-on-one call and using your Facebook message support. And by the first 15 days before the program even starts, you're like already integrating all this cool shit and probably already getting the results that you came for, and you're like, damn, we didn't even start the program yet. And that's in the pinned post. That's awesome. I don't even see exactly what the background is like because it's kind of, the sun is glaring. But anyway, peace out. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll be seeing you later.